Oh, it's Wednesday. Woohoo! Wednesday, November 10th. Why does the phone never show that actually? November 10th, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Lisbon time. How are you? I'm coming live to you today. And in case you can join live, that's wonderful. If you see and watch this one afterwards, that's totally cool too. I have a few questions. We are coming soon to the year 2022. How lovely. And of course, everybody makes some plans for 2022, especially we are in business, so we need some business plans. So what we are looking into with Blend Precisely is we're actually looking at the entire year of what we are going to add to Blend Precisely. Now, because every new feature takes time and money and everything else, I want to make sure that we get the right features into Blend Precisely in 2022. But I'm asking today actually a specific question, and the specific question is, what is your customer's path? And how do you work with new customers? So let me just go online and make sure you're actually able to see me again. I'm having difficulties lately with this live and computer and whatnot else, but yeah, it's working. I always love to hear myself. It's just horrible. Anyway, so I'm live. It's working perfect. And if you saw my my little first paragraph up on top, I was asking, when you acquire new customers, what path do you follow? Now, I drew up a really nice little card. I don't even know if you can see it. Probably you can. So I'm really, really curious, actually, and this is all in my brain and in my mind, how a customer actually walks through different phases of your business. So let's say you acquire a new customer and you get them either through social media or you get them from your email list, word of mouth, any kind of markets, like anything possible, through blog write-ups. Maybe they find your website, maybe they have seen you live somewhere else. So when a customer comes into your life, a new customer, which is always beautiful, we welcome them, and we also know at this point that those ones should be treasured the most. How do you go about every single step? So I drew this one literally up thinking, all right, first of all, obviously we attract a customer, right? Point number one. Then, and that is mostly for consultations and therapy appointments. So what else do you do when you look at this? When you look at this, oh, Jesus, that's difficult. When you look at this little write-up, what do you do? So number one is attract new customers. Then you most likely set up an appointment. And this appointment, is that going to be through Skype or is it going to be through Zoom? Are you doing, again, now live, since we have the possibility to mostly meet people live again? How do you meet your customer? I would be really interested in how you do this, because I want everybody to actually learn from us, from the ones who have gone before them. And it's already hard enough to do a business. But if we can help others, and if we can help also from the community or from Brand Precisely and whatnot else, I would love to do so. So how do you do your appointments? Do you do them online, or do you actually set up now an in-person appointment when you do your consultations? Then do you send out an intake form? Do you send this one out on a regular basis to new clients, asking them a variety of questions, of course, and health concerns and whatnot else? Do you send those ones out? And also, let me back up quickly. How do you attract them? Do you have a booking tool online? So do you have a booking tool? How do they actually book an appointment with you? Number one. Number two, do you do your appointments in person or online? And what tools do you use if you do them online? Do you send them an intake form prior to actually meeting them? And then you go through the intake form, and then you decide already partially on what maybe blends you will be creating or oils you will be creating, because it is part of the intake form. At least my intake form has already, do you prefer any kind of aromas? Do you know essential oils already? Da, 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 da. So it's really nice to have that actually before the appointment starts. And then do you add your customers to a CRM system? Do you have a client system where you add all of your customers to? If you do that, do you do this before you speak to the client, or once they say, yes, I want to work with you, and they scheduled your call? Then you have your call, I assume. How long is that call? How many minutes? Do you do a 45-minute consultation? Do you do 60? And we also know if we do a consultation, it mostly goes over. I mean, I don't think I've ever had any calls that didn't go over. So we have to be always aware of the time. I try to not go over by a lot, but we do go over. So what do you do with the call itself? So do you go over by, do you take a call for 45 minutes? Or what do you offer? 45 minutes, 90 minutes? Do you have any other numbers? And then also, when you go over, do you charge extra? Which I assume we are way too nice mostly, and we don't do that. Just curious. Yo, Jackie. Yo. And then you enter after the call, pretty much, you probably enter into the creation process. So after you're done with your creation process, how do you decide on your products? How many products you're going to send? In the beginning, do you tell your customers, okay, this is my consultation price, and it actually includes already 1 to 3 blends? Or do you tell them, we're going to have the consultation first, then I will sit down and think about the blends, and then I will let you know how many blends I think you need. And then you can make a decision in either purchasing them extra or not. So you basically have a fee for your consultation plus the blends, or do you have a consultation fee with the blends included? The first ones, and then how many? So that's the question for the creation blend. When do you send out an invoice? Do you send out an invoice before you send the blends off, or do you send out an invoice after you send the blends off? What is the process here? Because obviously you have to create the labels, you have to package everything, you have to ship it, and so on. So also, do you ship it? Do you ship it? I'm losing my mind right now. Do you ship it with tracking? So do you have a tracking number attached to it, or do you just ship it normal postal service? And I'm thinking just so much because every country is obviously different, and we have tracking here, tracking possibilities within Portugal. They are super cheap, but then outside it's getting really expensive. So how do you calculate your shipping costs in? When do you send the invoice? How and when does the client pays you? So do you have PayPal set up? Do you have Stripe set up? Do they pay you through a check still? Do they just do a bank transfer? How do they pay you? And then obviously after they have received the blends, you probably do a follow-up. And how do you do the follow-up? Do you just give them a quick phone call? Do you message them? Or do you email them? All these options. If they have been happy, they probably will reorder at one point. If they didn't like what you did, they probably will not order again. Unless they say, you know what, it was like mediocre, I'm going to give it another try another time. And that could happen as well. So I'm curious about what your follow-up procedure is. Do you follow up by email, by phone call, by message? Do you follow up through social media? Facebook messaging, Instagram, DMing? How do you follow up with your customers? And then do you put them onto your email list? So if you put them into a customer system, do you also add them to your email list? And if you add them to your email list, do you add the ones they didn't like your products? The ones as well, even if they didn't like your products? Or do you only add the ones when they liked your products? There are many questions I have today, and they're all for you. So that is what I'm really, really curious about. Adding them to your email list will probably give you the possibility to just inform them about new products, about maybe just following up. Hey, it's been 6 months. Do you want to maybe book another appointment? How are you doing? Type of emails. This is what I'm up to, or I'm closing down my business. I hope not. So this is all like just questions. So what I'm curious about is like, where in this entire process do you actually get stuck? Where do you spend most of the time? How do you do things? How do you connect to them? And how do you scale? If you have like a really awkward system, let's say you have a system where you don't have an automated appointment thing, that means you have to send out a few more emails, because if you use Calendly or Add Event or any kind of those appointment systems, they send out automated reminders. So in which area do you actually spend most of your time as well? Like this. I'm gonna take a screenshot later on of this one to just showcase again. So these are a lot of questions, and I think I almost need to do a transcript of this. But I'm really curious. I would like to write something out if I get enough feedback for others in our aromatherapy group. And I will also post this video actually to our aromatherapists in business group. So if you have comments and suggestions for others, let us know. And I'm looking for a way which, again, we can automate and what we can add to Blend Precisely to make this entire business process easier. And we obviously have already quite a few ideas, but this one here is a traditional path. And if you're a massage therapist or anything else, you probably have already some kind of a booking system. And if you do products, that's another whole different story. But this one is more meant for consultations right now. So how do you go about consultations? These are my questions for today for you. Jackie, how are you doing? I'm waiting for her to answer because she is normally always answering quickly. Anyway, so if you're watching this one, yay, she says good. Yeah, so if you're actually answering these questions, if you're watching this live a little bit later, I would love to hear from you. And then I will try to consolidate everything and actually get something out to everyone, so we have like a little bit of a overview what possibilities you have, because I think the attracting part is most likely the ones where most of the people struggle with, how to attract your clients. But what I think also a lot of people struggle with is the follow-up, like staying in contact with your clients and actually celebrating the ones you have already. I get a lot of feedback where I hear like, okay, yeah, so I always have to acquire new clients. But I just put out a post, I think today, today, how many clients do you like to acquire per month? And if you think about the retention of a client, that's only possible if you actually deliver really, really good customer service. So let's say you get 3 new clients a month. and let's say one of your consultations is $70, and you get 3 new ones, you're at $210. Now, if 1 or 2 of those 3 clients aren't happy, they will go away. So it's a whole numbers game, and I'm just trying to really, really figure out how we can, not we, but everyone can be making more money. I wish I was doing consultations so I could answer for you. Well, do you know anyone who does consultations? Because I would really love to talk to them. I mean, I know that a lot in our group. I should ask that in our group as well, who is doing consultations, because I would love for others to know how to do a really efficient way of consultations. Because I'm just thinking, Jackie, if someone, for example, if someone actually spends, let's say, 2 hours or even 3 hours on a new consultation and you charge $70, I mean, you will not make any money at the end of the day. So it needs to be somewhere streamlined, or we need to be able to save time somewhere, so we don't run into this trap of, oh, I made $70. Yes, but you spent 3 to 5 hours maybe in basically attracting the client. You paid some money or you spent time, and you go through this entire process, plus you're following up, and plus you're doing a bunch of other things. Then the $70 you just made in your consultation is pretty much like out the window. So I think we have to think a little bit in a bigger scale as aromatherapists as well. Let's see. They are more like case studies. Well, and that exactly is something different. If you have case studies, then you're pretty much like probably having either a product business, and that's where case studies come in really, really great. If you have a product business and you get clients to be a case study, then this time is well spent, because you probably, let's say you're doing a facial night serum and you have a case study and somebody has eczema, and then you create this amazing facial night serum, but then you can maybe sell it 10-fold, 20-fold, maybe even more, hopefully more. So I can see that case studies make a lot of sense in this way when you have products, but also obviously when you do other things like writings and creating other kind of products. I can see that. That's probably why I don't do private consultations. Yeah, because private consultations are really only worth your money if you charge the right amount. And I think aromatherapists definitely undercharge. When I do a lot of research, and when I go to the websites and I see the consultation fees, in the beginning, you obviously want to get a few consultations under your belt, so you price it a little bit lower. But I mean, at the end of the day, private consultations need to be paid for. And if we would want to compare ourselves to anybody else, other therapists, which we probably don't do because they go through a different formal education, but I mean, they go 125, 150 up per hour at least, right? So depending where you are, New York is much, much higher. But if we put our consultation fees at $35 or $45, and then we include a blend, and we include our time, and we include, so you basically running negative at the end of the day. So that's why I think looking at your client path and where you can save money and automate things is really important if you want to go down the consultation. But mostly I think we have to have a combination of businesses, like consultation and product business, or consultation and massage business, or something else, because I think otherwise they wouldn't make enough money. Yeah. So so if you're watching it and if you do consultations, I would love to hear from you. And Jackie, I love your input any time of the day anyway. So no matter if you do consultations or not, I'm very happy to hear from you. All right. Well, this is it from me today. I kept it under 30 minutes today. And I will post this one also to the Aromatherapist in Business group. And then we will see each other next week, Wednesday, back. And I wish you all the best for this coming week. And to some of you, I will talk tomorrow. And some others, I will see you back next Wednesday. Thanks, Jackie, for chiming in. Talk to you soon. Bye. Ciao, ciao.